for a while, because more than anything, I just think you have such great composure and you just come across as a really nice guy. And I've seen people be so rude to you just based on what you believe. So we'll just get started right with the podcast. Like right now, can we do that? Just get right into it.
I thought we started already.
Oh no, we didn't. That was just my radio voice. So, so here's a gentleman that I've been anticipating to be on the Launchpad podcast for a while now. David, you don't know this, but maybe some of my friends do. I've been trying to get a hold of you forever, and it was only through a fellow podcaster that I got your information to where I could reach out and have you here. Now, David is pretty much the authority when it comes to flat Earth.
I'm going to back. Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, okay.
I'm the guy with the biggest mouth. I'm the guy with the biggest mouth that's putting himself out there, that has dedicated his whole life to it. I am not the sole authority. I would say I'm just a good presenter. I'm a good person to communicate the information. There's other people that are out there before me. Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, ODD TV. These are the OGs of Flat Earth. And so together we all share our information and we spread it out to as many people as you can. If it wasn't for all of them, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So it's one big team.
Right. And this is what I like about David. David is a humble guy. Now, he's been talking about Flat Earth on many podcasts. He's been interviewed by mainstream media. And I've seen some people be really harsh with you, and you've always kept an even keel and then just wait to give your answers. And one of the articles that I came across, David, would be you and CNN.
Oh boy.
And it starts off with you saying, like, I wish I wasn't this guy, but I know what I know, that kind of deal, right? Like, you know that it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, once you see Flat Earth, you can't unsee it. And, when I first discovered it, I was like, I can't talk about this. This is going to discredit all of the other truth-seeking I've done. And then I'm like, well, it's real. I have to bring it. And in 2015, you mentioned Flat Earth. It's synonymous with, idiot, moron, retarded, whatever word you want to stick on it. And you get laughed at and ridiculed. But now you mentioned Flat Earth, people go, I've heard something about that. Yeah, let me talk to you. So there's a turning point here. And as we go through this, we're going to get into why the hell are we talking about Flat Earth when this world is in chaos? And the answer is the world is in chaos because people don't know the Earth is flat.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I have not seen this angle in some of the research. And when we're going back and forth in email, you're basically just telling me to stop doing all my research because we'll both be flat earthers by the time we do this podcast.
Well, I always say I love talking to people that the best people to talk to are the people that think Flat Earth is the dumbest thing in the world. Those are the best. Right. And then there's other people like, well, I'm not sure. That's good. They're already flat earthers. They don't know it. And just from the attitude, I could tell from your email or communication, I was like, he's going to be a full-on flat earther if he keeps researching. Dude. And it just takes a little bit of time and the proper research, not I'm going to Google Flat Earth. You Google Flat Earth, you're going to get gate capped. You're going to get thrown to the Flat Earth Society. You're going to get just all sorts of nonsense that really no flat earther thinks. You get, we get straw manned. If you Google Flat Earth, you end up at, you end up with images of discs in space, you end up at the Flat Earth Society, which is a controlled opposition website. You end up with images like this, right?
Okay, right.
This is like the number one thing that comes up when you search Flat Earth, outer space. No flat earther thinks this. This is all gatekeeping.
David, I can't afford to become a flat earther. I can't do it already, because with 9/11 and my stance on that, and I'm very open about COVID and vaccines and things of that nature. And if I go flat Earth, they're going to take my home.
Well, here's the thing. Flat Earth, amazingly, is still the one thing you can talk about on YouTube.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I mean, you can't talk about those other two things on YouTube. So it's very, very interesting. And by the time, if someone's listening to this and you're new to this topic, don't just turn it off. Don't think this is crazy, because I'm offering a Bitcoin to anybody that can come up with one proof of the globe. Just one.
Okay.
One proof of the globe. But by the time we're done with this podcast, you're going to be like, man, I'd really like that Bitcoin, but there's no way because the Earth is flat.
All right. Well, let's hear it, brother. I mean, I've seen some of your stuff, and there's some compelling examples and scenarios that you exhibit. And I just want people to take a look and explore. Like, why not?
Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna give the people the beginning of what flat Earth is, what it isn't, and then maybe you can ask some questions, because there's a million different ways we can go. Okay. So this is not flat Earth. Flat Earth is not a disk in space. Okay. Flat Earth. So what do you mean it's not a disk in space? Well, that's what they want you to believe. You know, when you hear about the ice wall, a disk in space surrounded by, the ice wall from the Game of Thrones, not true. Right? There is the ice shoreline of Antarctica. But what is flat Earth if it's not a disk in space? And the answer is it's more like a pond, right? So, or a lake. A lake is a big pond, right? Just a body of water. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, testably, scientifically, provably flat. And the edge of a lake, the edge of a pond, is where the land is just higher than the water surface. That's the container, right? So here's the world pond, the world lake. All the continents are surrounded by water, but the water needs a container, and it's surrounded by land. And that land is the highest land on Earth, and that's Antarctica. Did you know that Antarctica was the highest land on Earth?
I'm not sure, dude.
well, they don't really teach you that in school. They want you to think Antarctica is just an island at the bottom of a ball. Right? They always told us if Antarctica melts, the ocean will rise by 200 feet or something like that. Remember that's what they scared us in school. Right. How could this little island raise all of this water 200 feet, maybe an inch? If you do your proportion, right. If you look at the oceans are, I don't know what, 30. You can probably fit 30 of these Antarcticas in all of the oceans, right? But what if Antarctica, as they tell us, is the highest land on Earth? That would mean Antarctica is possibly bigger than all of the oceans and all of the continents combined. And if it has 200 feet of ice on it, well, all of that melted and went into the basin, we're going to be underwater by a lot.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the question is, what's out here? Where's the edge? Well, this pink line represents 60 degrees south. Okay. In 1959, they came up with the Antarctic Treaty, right? All the countries in the world signed on immediately. Yep. Nobody can explore Antarctica. You can't even fly an airplane over Antarctica because you might disturb the penguins' migrational routes.
Okay.
Did you notice Fauci was wearing a penguin mask the other day?
No, I didn't.
He had a mask on covered with penguins.
Okay.
Something's up with penguins. And so have you ever heard of a treaty that's lasted the test of time when all countries are fighting each other for resources and stuff? This one, Admiral Byrd flew out over Antarctica and said, there's more resources. There's land bigger than the United States past the pole, filled with resources. And then they signed a treaty. You can't even question the treaty until the year 2041.
Right.
All right. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
Okay.
Like, why would they do that?
Yeah, chop down the rainforest, no problem.
That's true. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No problem, but don't disturb the migrational path of the penguins.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
All right. Okay, that's a good one. All right.
So the other thing that people don't realize, so now that you understand what flat Earth is, you have to know what the helio-nonsensical model, I call it, is. So people actually believe this, right? I'm going to tell you a crazy story, okay? But this is what they teach us in school, and this is what people believe if you believe you live on a planet. You believe that you live on a planet spinning faster than the speed of sound, 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So when you're watching the sunset, the sun's not going down, you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. While that's going on, you're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. And somehow all of the other planets are doing the same, and they're all staying on the same plane. Like if this was the sun here, they're all going around on the same plane, right? They all stay level with each other somehow. None of them fade back. None of them go forward. They all like you're in like the sun is in a race and everyone catches up to the sun, but they're not going to go past it. They just run around the sun. Okay. Right. 66,600 miles an hour. And then the sun is traveling at over 500,000 miles per hour. And that entire thing is moving sideways at 1.6 2 or 5 million miles per hour or whatever it is, somewhere over 1 million miles per hour.
Well, David,
That's
it's
insanity.
possible. It's possible.
How is that? You know what?
Yeah.
They've trained us to think that as we go out in the world every day, we observe it stationary, still, perfectly. You know, like you go out tonight and watch the stars. Go out a year from now, same night, same time. The stars are in the exact same position. How is that possible when we're traveling billions and billions and billions of miles in 4 different directions? How do all the stars reset into the same exact place? Okay. Think about that for a second. You know about the Georgia Guidestones? You're a conspiracy guy, right?
I'm not familiar with these ones, though.
So the Georgia Guidestones are in Georgia, state of Georgia in the USA here. And they showed up in, I think, 1981, a couple $100,000. And they basically have it's like Stonehenge, and there's 10 commandments in like 12 different languages or something like that. And one of them, besides they're basically the marching orders for the New World Order. Okay. One of them is don't let the population rise over 500 million again, the world population. Okay. But besides that, there's this little hole in one of them. Right. And that little hole, if you look through it, you see Polaris, the North Star. Okay. Right. Do a little time lapse. All the stars circle around.
Right.
Remember that diagram I showed you, whirling, twirling, and swirling, corkscrewing through space? How do you keep a star focused through that little thin hole?
Okay, yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's insanity, right? People go, what about, the pictures of galaxies and stuff? So think about this. On Earth, the largest telescopes, if you go watch a NOVA, one of those documentaries on these large telescopes, these telescopes are on cement pads that are like 8 feet thick, because you can't have, if somebody tiptoes by while it's taking a long duration shot, right, the little vibration will ruin the picture. Okay. Sounds legit, hey, it's focus, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, now think about this.
Okay.
Does it really make sense? Did they forget that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, corkscrewing through space, moving thousands of miles a second in 4 different directions?
Right.
I mean, insanity. And then you throw the Hubble telescope in there. The Hubble telescope, it's doing all these things that Earth is doing, and it's falling around the Earth at 17,000 miles an hour.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. How is that able to look at anything? Besides also being in the thermosphere, which is like 3,000 degrees. Do you know anything about metal and mirrors? Do you know anything that could work at 3,000 degrees? What is this? Is this thing falling around the Earth, focusing on stars, sending back pictures? Or is this a soda can wrapped in tinfoil with a little friggin' wheel strapped to it, okay, and taking a picture in front of a green screen? Look, this is Del Monte beans, all right? And then this is a soda can, okay? This is how bad it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm going to lose so many friends here. I just can't.
So here's the thing. Let's get into why this matters, and then we'll get into some more points. Because would you believe that the world is in kind of a tyrannical takeover right now?
Yeah, things are fucking crazy.
Things are fucking crazy. And it's because the people that are running this world know the truth of this place. They know their divine place. They know the power that they have. Okay. Yeah. They want us to believe that we're an insignificant speck that evolved from pond scum on a speck flying to an infinite godless universe or distant God universe. Right. Okay. And where there's nothing left to explore. Remember the Truman Show?
Yes.
Okay. When he said, hey, I want to be an explorer, the teacher pulled down the map because Truman, there's nothing else to explore. Well, they did that to us with the globe. The globe. We've explored the whole globe. Maybe Antarctica, there's some questions there. Okay. But that's not true. What if beyond Antarctica, if this is where we live in this inner space and this ring is Antarctica, well, what are these extra terra, extra land, right?
Right. So that's the new world like that we don't know about?
Maybe. So again, we're not allowed to even go and explore Antarctica, but maybe there's more worlds out here. Okay, maybe there's extra, if you believe in extraterrestrials, extra is more, terra is land, extraterrestrials come from the outer space to the inner space. So when NASA said they want to go to outer space, maybe this is the Mars system that they're talking about. That's right here on the Earth plane. Okay. The other thing is, again, we don't know. Maybe we're the only ones. Maybe this is just the entire system. We're here within this dome. All the luminaries in the sky are circling above us. Again, there's plenty we can do to prove that we are flat and stationary. When I say flat, there's hills and valleys and stuff, but nothing, the deepest hole is 7.5 miles. So, the Earth is stationary and does not move. Provable. It's provable it's not a globe. What is it? Is it just this? Is it rings? Are there other puddles? I call this puddle theory. What if they're, another 5,000 miles that way, there's another puddle with another dome and another whole world in there.
Right.
Maybe.
So a multiverse, but puddles.
Yeah, but all across the Earth plane. The flat Earth is the basement of the universe. Okay. Whether we're the only world here or there's other worlds, I more lean now, again, anything beyond 60 degrees south is speculation. Okay. And so I just want to make that clear because, we're trying to figure it out, but scientifically provably, we can show you that we're not on a spinning ball flying through a godless infinite space vacuum. I mean, that breaks every rule of thermodynamics. The story of the Big Bang, nothing exploded and created everything. Okay. All right. I'll give them that one. Okay. And then all of the rocky bits, due to gravity, started attracting and making these balls, and they turned into these perfect balls, and they got water, and then all of the hydrogen coalesced into these gas balls that got so big that they started to nuclear fuse or whatever. Right. And they're burning balls of gas in a vacuum. Do you see any problems with this story yet?
Yeah.
Burning balls of gas in a vacuum.
Right.
Okay.
You're saying there's no air.
There's no air. So all of this stuff separated and left a vacuum in between. Nature abhors vacuums. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so we have. I get my props.
Props are coming out.
They're not big props. They're just
shit's gonna get crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy. So we have the sun.
Right.
And the Earth is orbiting around the sun. Why is the Earth orbiting around the sun? Because the sun has
gravity. It's pulling it
holding
towards.
on to the Earth. Right.
Right.
And then out here, a little farther, is another planet. It's Mars. Why is Mars going around the sun? Because the sun has
gravity. It's pulling it towards
Saturn, Jupiter, Venus. All. Well, I'm not doing them in order, but so the sun's holding on to all of those planets, right? And they're all falling around the sun perfectly, and they never ever screw up. They always, we know exactly, we can predict where they're going to be for thousands of years, right? But we have a moon, and the moon is circling around the Earth. Why is the moon circling around the Earth? Because the Earth has
gravity.
Okay. So when the moon's going around the far side of this Earth and it's coming around towards the sun, how come the sun's gravity doesn't rip it away, or at least speed it up? And as it goes away back on this side, how come it doesn't drag and get slowed down? Right? Mm-hmm. So this is called the three-body problem. You can't model this in the world's best supercomputer. You can put a sun ball and a planet ball and set them, their gravities and everything and their size, and set them into orbit in the simulation. It'll work like a perfect timepiece. Then you add a third body, a moon or another planet, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode, never repeats.
Interesting.
But somehow, for millennia, all of the stars reset every year. All of the planets, go through these cycles. All the eclipses repeat every 18 years. What? That sounds like a intelligently designed timepiece. The sky is a perfect clock. Right.
Now, two of the examples I've seen, and I don't want to jump ahead because I don't know if this is something that you have planned to go from point A to point B.
I have no plan here.
Okay. Is that emergency plane landings?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was interesting, as well as this example of a sunset that you had like a globe on a string. I think those
I'll show you
probably two of the more compelling things that I saw that would at least, like, regardless where you fall in the spectrum of flat Earth, you have to see these two things and think, well, that's interesting anyways.
Yeah. So, when I heard about flat Earth, I'm like, well, what about sunsets over the ocean? What about boats over the horizon? What about Sticks and Shadows by Aristophanes? What about seasons, right? But then when you look, you find out that all of these things work perfectly on a flat Earth, and some of them don't work on a ball Earth. The seasons is the globe killer, the globe killer. So if you wanted to go from Buenos Aires, major city, to Perth, major city, plenty of people want to fly. They can fill an airplane. No need to go pick up people in North America. This would be the fastest trail. But what's wrong with this trail? We could disturb the migrational path of the penguins, by flying an airplane at 45,000 feet over Antarctica where the penguins couldn't hear it or see it. Okay. Right. So the shortest route would be, the next route would, you can go around either side of Antarctica, right? That way you won't disturb the penguins, right, the emperor penguins, please. Okay. So, but the real route these planes take is this. They go from here, from Buenos Aires. They either stop in Miami or Houston. Then they stop again in Los Angeles. Then they go to Sydney. And then they go to Perth. Or they go the other way to Europe, Singapore, and Perth. It takes like 26 hours for that flight. Why don't they just cut 3/4 of that distance off and cut across the bottom?
Right. And I guess what really highlights it is that there seems to be so many examples, not just in flat Earth, but just in general, where, the Antarctic is just, that's just a place that we don't touch, we don't go through, we don't see, right. We just really don't talk about it.
NASA is in charge of all the plane routes. They're in charge of all the world GPS, right? They're controlling the lie, right? And they have sophisticated programs. I used to say most pilots don't know, but most pilots do know the Earth is flat. They just don't talk about it because they get fired if they do. Here's a book. This book is an amazing book. You can buy it on Lulu. It's like a coffee table book. If you want to, and I think it's like $40 or something. I have the color version. It's amazing, but it's also free online. You can download the PDF. And there's 16 landings that he documented that make 0 sense on a flat Earth. I mean, on a globe Earth, but they make perfect sense on a globe Earth. So one of them is from Taiwan to LA. So if you look in your seat back while you're on this plane, this is where they show you, that they tell you you're going. This is what you see if you track the plane from Earth. So there was an emergency right here, a medical emergency, and the plane had to land. So if you were the pilot, where would you land? Probably Hawaii, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
Or continue, depending on how bad, whatever. But they went all the way up to Alaska. Okay. Then you look at that on a flat Earth, Taiwan, emergency, Alaska. Hawaii's all the way out here. Okay. Straight line. All of these emergency landings landed in airports that were perfectly straight lines on the flat Earth map from where they were coming from and where they were going to.
Right. And that's documented.
This one, he documented 16 of these. He got 16. The information from the news, the flight numbers, did the flight tracking, did everything. I mean, these are undeniable. And the only answer that the Globers have, one is they just ignore it. They ignore it, then it doesn't exist. But they say it's because they couldn't, the airport was busy. They had to go pick another airport. Come on, Hawaii to Alaska,
Right.
And how many examples do you need before you're like, okay, something's wrong here?
Right.
They've convinced us to give up our God-given senses for nonsense, no senses. Right? I mean, do you feel like you're spinning right now? You might feel like you're spinning right now talking to me, but before you were talking to me, when you're sitting down, just be quiet, shut your mind for a couple seconds, look around. Are you moving? Are you twirling and whirling in all these directions at once, and somehow water like this can be a perfect mirror of the sky? Take a dinner plate, fill it with water to the brim, and try to walk across your living room. Then try to walk in a circle, and then try to go up the stairs while spinning in circles. Okay.
Sounds like a typical Friday night for me.
Yeah. But
sure.
none of that makes sense. None of it makes any sense. People say, well, I've seen the curvature from an airplane, right? You're seeing what you want to see, but you're also not understanding how you see. So all conditions the same, all weather conditions the same. If you're looking straight, there's just in like 30 or 40 miles, the sky kind of converges with the water. And, you just can't see any far. That's the limit of your eyes. But if you had a zoom camera, you can zoom in and open up that space and see farther, right?
Okay.
That's how perspective works. People don't really think about it.
Okay.
So when you're looking forward, 12 o'clock, you can see X distance. 1 o'clock, same X. 2, 3, 4, right? You can see the same distance. So if I'm standing here, I can see the same distance in all directions, right? Flip that over. This is how I'm seeing the world, the sky and the land. And then I put a line on it and someone goes, oh, that's the curvature of the globe. No, it's not. It's the limit of your vision.
That's
it's
interesting.
just how your vision works. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, so getting back to why, I'll do the demonstration in a second. But getting back to why the lie, there's people in this world that are running this place that know the truth of this world. They know that we are at the center of creation. They know that we all have God-given free will and nobody can take it away from us. Okay. They know that there's more to this world. They know that our thoughts create our reality, our emotions, our feelings, create things. Everything you have in your life is because of your emotions and your feelings and your thoughts, the way you think. Manifesting. And they don't want us to know that that's real. They tell us that we have to work. We can drink some beer and watch some sports on the weekends, watch a movie, more mind programming, and then go back to work. And then when we're 65, we can retire, hopefully with our money that didn't disappear, and barely be able to enjoy it because we're just exhausted.
Now, David, do you lose more people on the fact that it's flat Earth, or do you think maybe you lose people based on like the Illuminati stuff, that there's people out there that just don't want us to be enlightened? Because this, I do believe. We are incredibly powerful beings. We are infinitely powerful together. Like, I don't think that there's anything that if we were to harness our true potential together, like as a unit, like we could just monumental things that we could achieve, in humanity. And obviously, you're talking about people that are in power, not wanting us to realize our true potential, because then that way they can manipulate us, they can keep us in our place and enjoy the life that they live.
So this is for people that aren't awake to the amount of deception in this world. This is really a hard one to understand, but anybody in a true place of power has literally sold their soul for that position. They have put themselves in a situation where they are just the bidders of the people that are really running this place. Nobody has the power that hasn't been compromised. So, they want to keep us as worker slaves. They imprisoned our mind, which is the globe, and they want us to just, if you were the ruler of the world and you knew the truth, and basically all of these people are just bothersome to you, would you educate them with stuff that might challenge your power? Or would you just make them good worker slaves? Would you just keep them busy, living paycheck to paycheck? The stuff they teach us in school is useless. It's just to make them so we can run their factories and their little businesses. They teach geometry and algebra. Now, like mathematics, some basic mathematics, everyone needs a little bit basic mathematics, but they don't teach us vortex mathematics or sacred geometry, right? They don't teach us, most schools don't teach us about meditation and bringing your intentions together. They don't teach most of that anyway.
Yeah. See, and I agree with a lot of that and that line of thinking in regards to just wanting to keep your power, because that's what history shows, right? It used to be the priests and the high power. You used to have your kings and the pharaohs and all that kind of stuff. And there were just the people that were allowed to educate themselves, the knowers. And then there was just everybody else. And your job was to just keep your thumb on top of everybody so you didn't have an uprising.
Right. And so, everyone knew the earth was flat up until the early 1920s. That's a little shocker. And people started getting more power with the Industrial Revolution and stuff. And so that's when they introduced this whole globe thing. It's not 2,000 years old. They want us to believe that the story of Aristophanes is a made up story.
Right.
He doesn't show up. He's the most famous mathematician, and he doesn't show up until in any books about that stupid experiment he did that doesn't prove anything until the mid 1900s. Okay, don't you think that's a little weird?
Yeah, I saw a clip on the internet, and it was a lady actually having a conversation with this gentleman, and how she was taught about the planet ages ago. She was a very, very old lady. And she said she doesn't remember being taught that the world was round. She remembers being taught that the world was something else. I can't remember.
What
flat,
crazy guy would interview an old lady?
Oh, was that you?
About that? What are you, crazy?
It was you.
So I was her name's Ruth, 102 years old, February of 2020. And I was interviewing her about the World's Fairs because she had been there. World's Fairs is a whole nother rabbit hole. Hold on one second. I just got to grab a power cord.
So wild.
Interviewing her about the World's Fairs. One more second.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry about that. All right. So I was interviewing her about the World's Fairs, and she had such a great memory. I asked her what they taught her in elementary school about the Earth. And I never mentioned flat Earth. And she goes, oh, they taught me the Earth was flat. And then they changed it some years later. So we found newspaper articles from the New York Journal, now the New York Times, from the late 1800s, early 1900s, about teachers being persecuted for teaching the globe model, saying that it's crazy that they want us to teach this. And there was all sorts of controversy. And then a woman from Croatia said that she was taught in the 1930s in Croatia that the Earth was flat. So this takeover didn't happen. Here's the thing is, let's say it's 1920 right now, and you and I know the Earth is flat. How are we going to tell anybody? Right? I think everyone knew. Mm-hmm. And then they just said, oh, no. And like you knew just because your senses told you. And maybe you saw it in a paper or something. But then they're like, oh, no, science has improved. We found out, NASA, wasn't NASA then, but they started pre-programming us, like Universal Pictures in 1927, I believe it was, put the spinning globe as the beginning of their thing. What's funny is they've got the spinning globe, but the airplane's flying like this around the globe instead of like this, because that would be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Right? A sideways airplane. So they have it flying like this. If you look at the early Universal Pictures. And then in 1959 or whatever, NASA sent up their first rocket. It matched Universal's globe. How did Universal know what it looked like before anyone put a rocket in space? It's called pre-programming.
Right. Well, I had a gentleman, Jason Christoff, on the show that maybe you're familiar with.
I know the name.
Maybe not. Yeah. He's very big on mind manipulation, things of that nature, pre-programming, and the effects that society has on us, especially movie, media, all that kind of stuff.
Right. So, Elon Musk, everyone thinks he's the greatest thing ever. I mean, he's the CEO of 5 major companies. He's the guy that took over NASA. That's impossible. Nobody can do all of that stuff, and if you ever hear the guy say anything intelligent, I mean, he's just a puppet for the elite. But the weird thing about Elon is NASA was was started, but the story is they had Project Paperclip, and they brought over Werner von Braun, who was a German Nazi, to run NASA. Did you know that?
No.
And on his gravestone, for one, it said Psalm 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. That's talking about the dome above. Okay. So I also believe that entire NASA story about, the space race, we took their rocket scientists, there was no space race. It's all a show. But Werner von Braun wrote a book in, I'm trying to find the cover. Oh, here it is. In 1957, I believe, called Project Mars, about a group of people that went to Mars to start a colony there. And the leader of that colony was named, I guess.
Oh, it's going to be Elon, right?
Elon. Right? What are the odds? Right? Here's Elon's rocket that he wants to take people to Mars in. And a month ago, he tweeted, I want to redesign the rocket and make it pointier. Okay. Wow. This is all just mockery, pre-programming. If you think that's a coincidence, you've completely lost your mind.
Now, where's the one with the sunset? That
This one.
Yes, this is the one that honestly, out of everything I've seen, this one is the most compelling.
Yeah, so if you actually listen to my narration on this, it's on my channel, DITRH. But what I'm doing here is I'm moving the sun along a level line. So this would be the path of the sun over the flat Earth counter. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I'm videoing it from altitude, from the same height as the sun. But I have a camera on the flat counter on the other end looking up. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like from that camera's point of view. And here it goes. This is level, but it looks like it's going down.
Right.
And then as it goes beyond this thing that it never went below, due to perspective, it drops below it.
Right. That's the big thing, is that it looks like it's below those items.
And look at this line. Look how it looks like if I ask someone, if I just showed anyone this picture, is this level or down? And there's no, that's going down.
Right.
It's level. And here's the sunset. You would think it's going to set below this horizon, but it's setting. This is what I call the atmospheric deck of opacity. It's where the lower atmosphere becomes so thick the sun can't even, you can't see the sun through it. So then you move it by. When you move it by, it just sets.
Right.
It looks like it's going down, but it's not.
Interesting. Yeah, that one I like.
Yeah. Did you see my sun fade out video?
I don't think so. I believe I'm about to.
Yes. So I filmed this 7 times already. It has to be around 32 degrees, so there's no humidity in the air. It has to be a super clear day, which is almost impossible now with the stuff going on in the sky. And I got my drone up, and I'm filming the sun, and the sun was up here, and in 10 minutes time, it went down, down, down. In 5 minutes time, it went from way up here, down, 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 down. And if the Earth was spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't. It stopped here. It sat here. This is super sped up for 10 minutes. And then it just faded away. It never goes below this apparent horizon. It just fades away because its light can no longer push. The brightest thing on Earth, the sun, its light can no longer push through the atmosphere. So the idea that light travels forever and ever and billions of years is nonsense.
There's a lot of different elements to this.
There certainly are. And there's not just, people say, well, why doesn't the sun get smaller? Well, it does get smaller at that last part of the day. But in reality, we're not really seeing the real sun. The real sun is above what I call our personal atmospheric dome. And this is dome just sitting on a blanket. And inside the dome, you see this little sun. And I'm just bringing a pen light across the top. And it goes down. It never goes below it. And then it just fades out. Here it comes back again, right? All of a sudden, the sunrise, you just see the sun appear on the horizon. It rises over your head. You have a beautiful day. And then as it goes away, I'm bringing the thing away now. And it goes down. But you don't get to see this last part unless you're up very high, right? Here is in Africa on their plane up there, or elevated area. The sun is not going down. This is super sped up again. It's just going away. Now, measuring the size of the sun, very difficult. Glare, lenses, all sorts of stuff. I don't focus on that. But one of the things that happens when you're looking at the sun going away, as something goes away, it gets smaller due to perspective, but it gets bigger due to atmospheric magnification.
Okay.
So things are different sizes on different days when you look at them. Here's one. I forget where this one is. Is it not listed? It just clearly the Earth is stationary, and that light in the sky is just moving away.
That does look like it's moving away. Yeah.
Damn it. Damn it. The Earth is flat. Now what am I going to do?
Like, it almost looks like Star Wars, and that's like there's the rockets on the back of the ship, and it's just shooting away. It wouldn't look much different. It's just going away.
Right. It's just going away. Hey, let me. I'm going to share my app, and I'm going to show you how seasons work, and then I'm going to show you how you can learn about flat Earth, because Google isn't going to serve anything to you.
Right. I feel like I'm drinking through a fire hose.
Yeah. So the sky is a perfect clock. The sun is the hour hand. And it goes around once a day. So you see these lines here? This is outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn. You've heard that before. And the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. Right? I'm going to speed it up. and you'll see that the sun is going to catch up to the moon. The sun will lap the moon once every 28 days. Okay. And see, it's getting closer and closer, and then the moon is waning, getting smaller and smaller. When it catches up to the moon, there'll be a new moon. And then as it passes the moon, there'll be a waxing crescent moon, and it'll start getting bigger and bigger. Here it comes. All of a sudden, there's the moon appearing out from behind it. So 28 times around, and that the moon keeps track of the weeks and the months, now called months. There used to be 13 months of 28 days, but they hijacked our calendar and changed it. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the stars. As I told you, the stars reset every year. So the stars are going slightly faster than the sun, but they only lap the sun once a year. Okay, so they only lose a small amount of distance over a month. So in a month from now, the sun will be in this constellation, and in a month later, it'll be here, and this is Cancer, right? So that's how the sun stays in its sign for about a month each year.
Right.
So I'm going to jump the sun forward to June. So we're in June. We'll go to July. So we're in July, and it's oops. Let me go back. Has to just reset. So in the heat of our northern summer, here we go. So on June, July. All right. So in July, the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. That's when we have our summer. You're in the United States, right?
I'm in Canada.
You're in Canada. So that's when the sun is closer to us because it's here. When it goes by, it's closer to us. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. Australia is having their winter because the sun is farther away from them. But if I jump the sun forward to January or December, there's January, that's when they have their summer because the sun is closer, higher in the sky, and it's farther away from us, lower in the sky.
Now, David, be transparent with me because this isn't about percentages. And I mean this with all due respect.
Shoot.
How many friends have you lost, right? And how many have you been able to convert?
So I've converted millions of people at this point. I've lost count. So,
but your friends, though, your personal friends,
my personal friends. So I would say out of my personal friends, probably a dozen I've converted, and I've probably lost. I don't know. I know that there's probably 10 that they won't even talk to me anymore, and that's fine. That's their journey. Here's the thing: not everyone's here to wake up. You know, you're there. You know, I can help you. I can't put. You know, you can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think. All right. So I've gained a whole new family of friends. There's people all over the plane that I'm now like spiritually connected with. I mean, there's so many people that I can call good friends that I know that I can trust. The community is amazing, amazing group of people. So yeah. But I've also had people that have come back into my life. They're like, Dave, thought you were crazy, but I was watching the internet and I saw Charlie Ward and I follow him and I saw you on there and holy crap, the earth is flat. And so now people are coming back.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not worried about friends, right? I'm not worried. I just want to spread the truth. And if the truth isn't for you, that's your choice. I don't hate you for it. But I stand in truth and I want to know, you know, where I am. People say, what does it matter? I still have to go to work. Well, I'm not at work, right? I am at work right now. I'm talking to you. I couldn't be happier. Okay. And the thing is, if you don't care where you are or who you are or the power that you have, well, you're officially mind controlled. You've become, you know, Stockholm syndrome or whatever. I tell people, imagine you lived in a giant apartment building, but there was no doors or windows on it. Just LED screens and just that's all you've ever known your entire life. And you work on the 10th floor and the gym's on the 20th floor. And, you know, you buy groceries on the 4th floor and that's all you've ever known. And I was like, hey, there's a whole outside. There's a whole nother world. There's other buildings. There's outside, you know, And you're like, what difference does it make? I still got to go to the 19th floor and work or whatever. You know, that's the mentality that people have. They don't understand that we are in this creation and we are here. The way I look at it is your soul, right? If you had no soul, people that are soulless, they have no desire, they have no passion, they're just horrible. Your soul is where your passion comes from, and we're here to expand the mind of our soul. Our soul is a piece of God, or the piece of the Creator, whatever word you want to put on it. And we're here to literally experience this realm. And our goal is two things: one, don't lose control of your soul, and two, don't break anyone else's free will. That's it.
Yeah, and there's so much of that going on right now.
Yeah, the people, and I use that word generously, that are running this place are really evil, soulless bastards. And some people don't want to admit that. So that's how seasons work. Real quick, and then I'll jump out of the app. I just want to show you for the Bitcoin. What I tell people is, this is called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Every day there's a new video. Right over here, the featured video day. Click this thumbnail. Up comes the video, short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. Watch it for 2 weeks. And then if you still think that the earth is a globe, send me one proof. But before you do, you have to hit the question mark over on the right. And up comes all of the questions that you could possibly ask. What about eclipses? What about photos of Earth from space? If I click what about eclipses, up comes a playlist that YouTube won't show you. These videos are on YouTube. But you won't find these. Like if you search, fake moon landing, you're gonna get moon landing debunking videos that are here to control your mind, right?
Right.
The app does it. It shows you how a compass works. Every direction is south. Away from the center is south, and east and west are circles around the magnetic north. Does a whole bunch of other things, but that's all I'll show you for now. And
wow,
like if you said, hey Dave, send me a video on top reasons the earth is flat. If you Google that, you're gonna get top 10 reasons the earth is a globe. And then after my one video, the next algorithm video is going to be something to confuse you, something to make you doubt what I just sent you. But on the app, every video that you're watching, every video that gets served after it comes from the app.
Right. And David, what's the one thing that you saw that just started this whole thing? What was it? What was the one piece of compelling evidence that you're just, holy shit? Like
one of them was ships over the horizon. Like, okay, if the earth is a globe, what's the curvature? And I looked up the curvature formula, and for short distances up to 1,000 miles, which is more than enough, it's 8 inches per mile squared. I'm like, okay, so I know there's a buoy 11 miles off my beach. So if I go sit at the water's edge on a calm morning, if I zoom in with my camera, I should not be able to see it because it should be under 60 feet of curvature. Okay, it should be behind 60 feet of curvature. Not only could I zoom in on the buoy, I could see the surface of the water for miles, tens of miles beyond the buoy, where there should be hundreds of feet. What I'm showing you here is you don't see a boat, but if you zoom in, you're expanding your horizon, you're opening it up, all of a sudden you can see the boat. And when I zoom all the way in on this boat, right, you'll see the whole side of the boat. Here's the whole side. And now when I zoom out, it's like the boat's going away. And watch, the boat will disappear from the bottom up for several reasons. See, look, the hull's gone. It's up to the window. The top of the boat's gone. And now you can't see it anymore. Okay. And a glober will say it's over the horizon, but it's not over the horizon because I wouldn't be able to zoom in on it if it was over the horizon. Right.
And that was the big thing for you. That's what really started to get you digging.
That was one thing. And then I'm like, well, what about photos of Earth from space? I had one on my iPhone, right? So you look at the photos that first NASA admits they don't have any photos of Earth from space. Here's the one that was on everyone's iPhone. Robert Simmons, their visual artist who made it, said he made it in Photoshop. His famous quote is, I made it in Photoshop because it has to be, right? And he showed how he made it and what he made it from data he was given. So literally he painted this. Then 10 years later or so, this one comes out. Do you see a difference?
Right.
In the United States, right? Here's the blue marble. He even just used the same clouds again and again. They're using the same clouds, right? And you look at this one, Look at the United States compared to the whole size of the globe, right?
Right.
So what can we verify? Well, we can drive across Mexico and Baja and figure out that this is 934 miles. That we can prove conclusively that this distance is 934 miles. So here it is. They tell us the diameter of the Earth, a straight line through the Earth, is 7,917. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these in between these two red lines. Does not even close.
Right.
So what does this tell you? This is a painting. This is a painting, right? Pluto. They got a picture of Pluto with a distant sun. How is Pluto so well lit? Amazing. And a spacecraft that's traveling 60,000 miles an hour. And it has a desert shaped like Pluto the dog.
You think stuff like that is just a fuck you to people?
It's a fuck you. It's a total fuck you to people.
Yeah.
See this shot of Jupiter, right? Would you recognize that as Jupiter?
It's going to be something else I know, but yeah, I'd say that's Jupiter.
No, it's a bunch of ducks in a meadow. Okay. That's not from NASA.
Right.
That's not from NASA, but NASA gives us enough garbage, right? And look at the mockery. This is Space Command, and this is Starfleet Command.
Right.
Okay. Predictive programming. You know, Arthur C. Clarke wrote about satellites, and then a few years later, all of a sudden there's satellites falling around the Earth, when the truth is there are no satellites. All of the satellites that are up there are hanging from balloons. NASA owns all of the giant helium, all the big helium companies, and is the largest consumer of helium in the world.
I didn't know that.
I know that your money's paying for it. The NASA gets $65 million a day. Okay. What have they done? What have they done? What have they done except lie to us and fake things?
Right.
So boom, that's how a satellite goes to space, and they can control where these things go remotely.
Okay. Now, I know where you're heading with this because I've seen enough.
Okay.
And so what we'll do is I think it will be a nice ending to kind of dibble dabble a little bit more into the NASA and how much we're being lied to. And I believe you have some things in regards to where there's like CGI right now in regards to launches or green screens. I've seen this. This is incredible in regards to like a movie production.
Right.
What can be done?
How about this? They were playing with they got a fresh shipment of food, and they had a fresh lemon, and they were playing with it. And the things are floating in the air are augmented reality. Watch his hand.
Right. Go back to that last clip that you were showing of the green screen, just so people know the power of green screen. Right. So everything on that bottom screen is manipulated by green screen.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I think that every time I watch an Avengers movie, a lot of the time, all the actors aren't even there at the same time, yet they appear there on the same time on the screen. Yes. That's wild. Okay. So I just wanted people to get a good idea of like the power of green screen before you show these examples.
Right. Speaking of, if I could find it in time to make my transition nice and smooth. Speaking of actors and green screens, these guys aren't even in the same room. Chris Hadfield has got his guitar, and this guy's holding the microphone. He's in another room. He misplaces where Chris is, and he sticks the microphone into his neck. And Chris doesn't miss a note. Okay? Right. The microphone is inside of his neck.
And where can people find this clip?
Not on NASA pulled it down. They did this, and then it was brought up, and then it's off of their site. Now it's on 100 different channels. It's out there. All of this stuff is in the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app under NASA fraud. There's playlists, of all that stuff. Here's Chris, not Chris Hadfield. This is space, not his name. Whatever. And watch the cup. He's like showing how to drink coffee out of it, and then watch the color separates from the cup because it's layers and CGI. Again, augmented reality. Like there was no liquid in the cup, and this was like supposedly the liquid. There's so much fraud going on with NASA. I mean, it's hard to know even where to start.
Right.
This is the Japanese, it was, what about all the other space programs? Are they all in it together? Yeah, they're all in it together. They're all really one. This is footage of the Japanese probe that flew over the moon of the Earthrise.
That doesn't even look real to me, though. Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at the edge of the moon.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. And the space station was never assembled on Earth, never tested on Earth. Different countries made different parts. They flew it into space. They put it together somehow, and there's not a single video or photo of it being put together.
Okay, yeah, that's compelling too.
And all of the on the outs, all of the vital components and wires and everything are on the outside of the space station, right? And then think about this. If you're free floating in space, okay, like where is it? If you're free floating in space and you want to do a flip, right? So I'm floating on the space station, right? Okay. And if I wanted to do a flip, if I went like this, I'm going to flip and fly in all different directions.
Right.
But somehow all of these astronauts, they pivot over a center point, kind of like this person on wires here. So NASA admits they use this thing called the Argo system to train. So this is how they train doing out of space walks. And this is a out of the space station walk. The guy's hanging from wires in a dark room. Okay. And then when you watch some of these guys flip now, so some of this stuff is done in a 0G plane and there's little short clips, but when they're doing their longer interviews and they do the flip at the end of the interview, you'll see that they're hanging from wires.
Right. Like I saw one of those clips looks like they're actually kind of like in free fall. And yet,
right. That's done on a 0G plane. So watch these guys. They're trying to flip. These guys are all pivoting from their waist harnesses.
Right.
You wouldn't just pivot like that. If he leaned like that, he would just kind of drift backwards. But they're all pivoting on waist harnesses. Why do you have utility belts and cargo pants that are all puffy in space? Are your pants going to fall down?
Yeah, I've seen this one before as well, and it most definitely looks like they're pinned at the hips, right? And they're just
And she was on a 0G plane, and this one, or there's other ways that we think that they can make people float using frequencies, but they use all different types of methods. That way you can never really figure it out.
Wow. Yeah, there we go.
And oh yeah, and watch this guy. Something goes wrong. She gets all screwed up. Quick, look at my ball. Look. She got all tangled in her wires and she was like laughing and freaking out. And he quickly pulls out a ball and goes, look at my spinning ball. Right? Like, Don't look over there. She gets all screwed up. Watch. The guy looks at him and he's like, quick, take out the ball. And he takes out the ball. Look at my spinning ball.
Yeah, it looks awkward. Yeah, see, now I definitely believe that there's been some manipulation in regards to NASA. Like go ahead. I'll let you continue.
No. So watch this. This is augmented reality. This is a real ball filled with helium. Okay. But they're manipulating things. This is what she sees. And she's manipulating things. Then they're rendering it in real time. Right. So watch. That's a real ball with helium, just the right amount of helium in it. And then this is a CGI object. They even made the Star Trek beaming in noise when they beamed it in because they're rubbing it in our faces.
Right. Well, David, there's definitely a lot of good stuff in here.
Watch this guy. His head is transparent. So he's on a 0G plane. But there's no right-hand turn on a 0G plane, so they faded him in, right? This is just showing that none of this is live, none of this is real. It's all nonsense.
Right.
And here, I'll just leave you on this one. I cannot explain this other than the sun that we see is in a position relative to each viewer, and it's not really there.
I don't even know what I'm looking at right there.
You're looking at the sun in between clouds behind it, clouds above it, clouds below it.
Right. It looks like it's sitting in a nest.
Yeah. But if the sun was 93 million miles away, it would be behind all of the clouds.
Right.
but it is within the clouds. So the position that we see the sun is our relationship to the dome above us. So I think the sun is a focused point of energy coming from beyond the dome. Take a magnifying glass. When you were a kid and you used to burn ants with a magnifying glass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you didn't, because you did.
Just once.
Yeah. Just once, right? So you got that perfect point of light. That's like a little sun. Then you lift that up 6 inches and the light's gone. No, it's not. It's still there. It's just, it's in the air 6 inches higher.
Right.
So that's what the sun is, coming through the firmament, coming through the dome, and we're seeing it within the dome. Real quick, and then we can wrap it up. Yeah, we can go on forever. So again, we're literally trying to figure this out. So look, this is really in person. This was cool. There was like this perfect little sun floating inside this model, right? If this is the dome, it's just me with my iPhone light above it, moving it around.
Right.
So maybe it's something like that. Again, we don't know. They're lying to us about this world. It's scientifically provably not a spinning ball through a vacuum. Stars are nothing like they tell us. Planets are nothing like they tell us. Right. Gravity is a lie.
Now, here's what I'll say in closing. I don't even really think it matters so much what you believe. I think the most dangerous thing is not at least thinking about it, because there's no danger in just thinking, exploring, opposed to just saying that something isn't true based on what you've been told your whole life, right? Because I don't think that verifies, enough. Do you think there's a level where it just becomes dangerous, though, to think too much? Are we like to think about everything too much?
People say that, how do you live your life? You don't trust anybody. You know what? I trust everybody. It just the things that really matter, I kind of like to verify them. And we know that the leaders of this world don't do what we want them to do. And there are deceivers that they're out for their own benefit. What was it? Prince, what is one of those royal guys said that when he dies, he hopes he comes back as a virus that'll take out the humanity. Remember that?
No, I don't. That's horrible.
So Prince, I forget what one of those. I don't keep track of all of them, but he said he wanted to come back as a virus to take out, to depopulate the world. He said this years ago. It's like a decade or two ago. And look what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Again, all of our history is a lie.
Oh God, you're killing me here. You're gonna make me drink, David.
No, don't drink. You don't need to drink.
Can we finish on a happy note?
Yeah. So the happy note is, people are waking up by the millions, but the problem, the issue is, there's no more time to sit on the sidelines. There's like you're saying, I don't want to lose some friends, Well, I got a problem with that. You gotta, offer your friend. If you have a friend that you want to share some information with and they don't want to hear it, are they really your friend? Do you really need them as a friend? You don't have to unfriend them. You just be like, you know what? How about we'll have a little distance. It's fine. You're like my brother and sister. We don't even talk. They don't even talk to me about any of this. I don't think they believe all of the big events are real. They believe all of it. So we don't have that discussion. Mm-hmm. So again, this is a time of awakening. There are so many people waking up. The game is not over yet. The elite are trying to steal it from us, but they can't steal it from us without our permission, without us consenting, without us holding our arms out going, I submit, right? And, they're trying to take over, but we have to agree. And the way that we agree is we're lost. We're like, I need you to protect me. I need you to allow me to go outside without a mask. Allow me to work. This is nonsense. Nobody can stop you from doing any of that. All of the control that they have is in our heads, and people are waking up. And when you wake up to flat Earth, when you wake up to the globe lie, everyone seems to unplug from that fear matrix. And you start realizing a lot of things like nuclear bombs are not real. Well, what? Nuclear bombs aren't real? What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Oh my God, thing. David, you're killing me.
What I'm saying is, so now whenever you're watching the news, not that you should ever watch the news, whenever you see anything that says Kim Jong-un, you can go, that's a joke, because it is a joke. Kim Jong-un is running nothing. There are no nukes. Whole nother story. We can get into that another time. But what I'm saying is knowing the truth of who you are, where you are, and what you are, and the power of your mind matters. I'll finish off with from the documentary The Matrix with Neo, right, with Keanu Reeves. Neo at the beginning was lost, and he's lost. Something's wrong with the world. He's depressed. I think a lot of the depression in this world is because people's souls know the truth, but their minds are trapped in this globe. And Neo, by the end of the movie, discovers who he is, where he is, what he is, and the power of his mind. And who's a happier Neo, the Neo at the end or the Neo at the beginning?
Right, of course. Well, David, thank you so much.
Right.
Morpheus. Thank you so much for enlightening us.
This is the red pill, blue pill situation. So now everyone that I've given this to, I say that you can, you were ignorant before because I was ignorant before I knew. But now if you remain unwilling to look, you're now willfully ignorant. Okay. Right. In a positive way. So you can find me at theflatearthpodcast.com, the Flat Earth Podcast Instagram, the Flat Earth Podcast Facebook page, my YouTube channel, different name, DITRH. It's just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. I have lots of short 5-minute videos there. But if you want to learn about this, take the Flat Earth app challenge, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. There's already Globe Trolls out there with another app in the Android store that has the same name. And sometimes when you search for the app, theirs comes up and mine doesn't come up. Okay. So if you can't find my app, if you can't scan this QR code, just go to theflatearthpodcast.com and the links are there. The app's $3 or $2.99. But it's unlike a coffee or a beer that you pee away in 20 minutes. You have it for the rest of your life. Just awesome. Read the reviews if you're worried about the $2.99.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate your time. I will continue to look and be non-willingly ignorant. Right?
Well, right. And today as the day of the recording of this app, the day of recording, the featured video is Owen Benjamin. Do you know who Owen Benjamin is?
I don't.
Owen Benjamin. He's a comedian that was knocking NASA, and then I schooled him on Flat Earth, and it was about he did his whole awakening in real time on the internet. I took all of the clips when he had major breakthroughs. It's one of my favorite videos ever. It's on the app.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to talking with you again. Maybe we can get into some other stuff as well as just the Flat Earth stuff.
You got it. Thanks.
All right. And thank you once again for having a Lock to the Launchpad podcast. My name's J-Man. You take care. Be well. Love simply because you can. That was great, brother.
All right. Sorry for steamrolling for a little bit, but I get on.
No, it's all good. Yeah. When you're I get it. When you're passionate about something, that's where you go. So I have a lot of great stuff there. I'll let you know when it's all done. I usually keep it to around like 45 minutes, and yeah, we're not too far off.
Okay. You're gonna put this on YouTube, right?
Yeah, this is gonna premiere next Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Do you make thumbnails for your videos?
I do.
All right, I'll send you a couple images. Use what you want, or not.
Perfect.
And I sometimes I make thumbnails for people if they don't know how to make thumbnails, but you make your own, so you got your style. That's perfect. Send me the link before it premieres. I'll try to be there.
Oh, that'd be great for a live chat. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and then I'll share it. It'll be on the app, and so that goes out to like 100,000 people.
Oh, really? That's wicked. Great.
Yeah. When is it premiering? Tell me the time.
7 o'clock Eastern next Monday.
7 Eastern a.m. p.m.
p.m.
7 p.m. Eastern next Monday. Let me just see if I have a show then. Monday the 10th, 7 p.m. I'll be there. Just send me the link. Send me the link as soon as it's scheduled, and then I'll be there.
All right. I'll make sure. I'll actually get to production a little bit sooner than later, so you can have a little bit head time with it.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, brother. Honestly, it was an absolute pleasure chatting with you, David. Awesome shit, and I definitely have a little bit more to dive into because I like the lunar landing. I don't buy that at all. It doesn't take a lot. If we're in a court of law, it's all about just being able to provide enough reasonable doubt, right, to not prosecute somebody. And you've obviously offered, way more than necessary.
In the app, I have all of these images that you can pull up. So you say you don't believe in the lunar landing. I'm like, you don't believe that we went to the moon in this?
Isn't that fucking ridiculous?
Look at that.
Tinfoil. Yeah, that pop can thing you were talking about at the beginning. That was fantastic. That really kind of set the tone for I'd never seen that. I've watched quite a, like, I think just over time, I've watched at least a couple, like a few hours of your stuff. Like
Yeah.
I've watched enough. And I'd never seen you poke at that, at the satellite
actually, that's
before.
the first time I've done that, actually.
Oh, really? That was good.
I just winging it.
That just killed me. I'm like, yeah, how anyone can, like, I don't know. I've always been like the I don't know type, but I don't know how people can just buy into things so easily. But you know what? I am less baffled now that we're in this whole COVID mess where people are more than happy to just go out and put something into their veins that has no long-term studies, just based on the fact that the fucking TV told them to.
Dude, it's insane. I mean, all of these doctors coming out now saying, and the Pfizer former Pfizer scientist guy, I don't know if you heard. I mean, they're saying in the next year and a half to 2 years, everyone that's gotten the jab is going to die.
I hope not. Oh my God.
That's horrible. My liberal kids are probably getting the jab.
Right. Yeah. There's
yeah. Dude, they do this every 100 years. You know that, right?
Yeah. Are you in the States?
I'm in Connecticut.
You're in Connecticut. Yeah. See, in Canada, it's bad here. Like, Canada is bad. Ontario is really horrible, which is the province that I live in. Like, it's just draconian. And the second that this goes to, like, if it happens to turn into a mandatory thing, I've actually sold my income property to pay off my mortgage where I'm living now, because that's when I fuck off. Like, that's when I'm gone. And I saw your mug.
Oh. Say that again.
Your mug. I know that
Jeff Berwick.
Yes.
Are you into crypto?
I'm getting it. Actually, the show that I'm playing tonight is crypto, and I'm starting to explore more into crypto. That's where all my money is going to be going after I pay off my mortgage.
Dude, just write this down. Pirate Chain.
Yes. See, so Jason Christoff is also on this. I've seen this.
Oh, Jason Christoff's talking about Pirate Chain?
Yes.
Pirate Chain is going to replace Bitcoin. It is what Bitcoin. Oh, yes. Bitcoin, everyone thought it was this private way, but it's totally trackable, and the government and the IRS has their fingers all over it now. Pirate Chain is completely invisible. Okay. It's like $9, $10 right now, but right. I've been recommending it since 5 cents.
Oh, was it 5 cents at one point? I didn't.
Not that long ago.
Get the fuck out of here, really?
And we think it's going to go to the thousands of dollars.
Wow. And what is it pushed by? Is it pushed by more like in people that are awakening, or
it's just about people, like, the more that, like, every time Biden says something, or they're pushing about more taxes and right. all of this stuff, I'm like, this is perfect. People are just going to get pissed off, and they're all going to run to crypto. Mm-hmm. Okay. But they want everyone to run to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin, that way that they can really track them, and they can freeze a Bitcoin. They can say, no, this Bitcoin's tainted. It was
right.
Blocked. They can't do that with Pirate Chain. You put your money in Pirate Chain, they can't ever see it. They can't ever see it. And right. the transaction fees, 1 cent. I could send you $5,000, $500,000, or $5 right now, and it's a 1 cent transaction fee, and it would be to you before I can finish this sentence.
Fuck, why did I not know about this? I found out. I mean, how long has it been on?
We've been in it, but like a year, or maybe even I lose track. Like, see, I buy crypto and I don't even look. I don't even.
You just leave it there.
Just leave it. And I think in by 2024, if it's not over $1,000, I will be shocked. If it's not over $1,000, we're all screwed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it needs to be there. Right.
Yeah. So it's insane.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I'm going to guess that we consume a lot of the. Well, do you spend a lot of time watching other people, or?
I do. I listen to Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante.
Right. Same here.
He does these walk and talks with his dog, and he's into everything I'm into. It's like, it's not even about the money. It's just about, and he knows the earth is flat too. So he's speaking from a place of power. He doesn't talk about it, because, which is fine, but he gets it. But he hasn't been right. I've been following him for 10 years. I haven't been following his advice for 10 years. Because if he did, I'd have $150 million minimum right now.
Right.
He was telling people to buy Bitcoin when it was $3,
Right. Yeah.
So
that's really interesting stuff. And there's also that, I don't want to keep you much longer. That one older gentleman as well, I believe, like he must live somewhere. It looks like he's living in a rainforest.
Max Egan.
Yeah. I watch a lot of his stuff too. What do you feel about him?
So Max is a great researcher, and I listen to all of his talks. He was totally against flat Earth early on because he thought it was going to discredit everything, and he was just. And then when what happens is flat Earthers are very passionate. And a whole bunch of people came after him, just like hammering him. And that just made him more defensive, and he wouldn't look at it for years. Okay. So a few years ago, we had, he said, hey, I'm flying from Santiago to Australia. And he goes, you guys think the earth is flat? Let's prove it. And so he went on the plane, and we did a live stream from the time he got on the plane. He was on the live stream until the plane took off. And then we tracked him with tracking software the entire time he was on the plane, and he took compass readings, and his compass readings made no sense because he was going northwest, then he was going west. This line right here is west, and then he was going southwest. And so the path he was supposed to be taking was supposed to be going underneath and popping up over here.
Right.
Okay. So he should have been going south the whole time. And so we tracked out his compass readings, and this is the path.
Right. Because everything's supposed to be pointing towards the middle, which is north, right?
Right. So here's how it works. This is the north, the magnetic north. And if you try to push this compass set 270 degrees dead west, you have to keep turning because it always has to point towards the north. So west is right here on the compass. Every straight line is south. That sounds crazy. But watch, I'm going to push it 90 degrees east. I have to keep turning it. East and west are circles. East and west only, if you don't turn your steering wheel, you're going south a second after you start moving. Okay? Watch. Yeah. So I'm going to 270 degrees west, and I'm not going to turn. I'm just going to dead reckon and watch the compass. Bam, I'm heading south.
Yeah, that's wild, eh?
Yeah. And that's why people think billions of people have circumnavigated east and west, but nobody has done it heading south. Because if you head south, all of those straight lines are south.
Dude, I can't handle it. Fuck.
Dude.
You know what it is? It's I mean, I've always known that there's something wrong, right? And then, you start looking into one thing, and if you buy, I don't even want to say buy into it. That's like almost discrediting it. But once you start to become less ignorant to it, it naturally all just starts to like tumble. Like the whole construct just topples over. And so I'm kind of at this point where I've always been a truther, but I'd say like over the last year, it's like this world is like, it's a little bit disheartening.
What are you looking at in this picture?
Oh, fucking God. It's supposed to be a satellite, I'm sure, right?
No. This is the helicopter on Mars that went up like 16 feet in the air, had a camera pointing straight down, and it's a shadow of itself on Mars. This is what they're showing us as a shadow. First of all, the atmosphere on Mars is 1% of Earth. So they say, and you can't fly a helicopter above 10,000 feet. It won't even go. Right? It's like flying a helicopter at 150,000 feet. Well, they go, well, the blades spin much faster. That's how it's able to do it. That's how they tell us. Okay. How did it get a picture of the shadow? And why are the shadows different colors of the body it got a sharp picture of the blades, and it's spinning
so fast.
It's spinning so fast you couldn't see it.
Right.
And how do you have a crisp picture like that with a distant sun?
Yeah.
Put something on the ground, put a drone on the ground, and just lift it up and watch it at high noon and watch its shadow just fuzz out.
Yeah, right. I don't know why they do stuff. Yeah, the thing that really got me on with space was it was some of the photos and how they have the crosses as depth perception, and where some of those
on Mars, yeah.
right,
Not on Mars, on
no,
the moon.
on moon,
On
where
the moon,
some of those,
right.
yeah, and they were lost behind the images, like, so the images were appearing on top of the X's.
Oh, dude, there's so many things. This is Mars,
right? Yeah,
and this is Greenland.
It's so ridiculous, eh? Like this stuff, and same with the moon. Like, it's just
it's insane.
See, what I thought for the moon for a little bit though was, you know what? Okay, like I'm sure, like maybe I was thinking they had at least, like, gone around the moon. They orbited the moon, and then of course they put out the rest of this propaganda just to make it look like we achieved something. But now it's like so we've never been to the moon, never been around the moon, nothing.
Dusty, dirty ball is reflecting light 230,000 miles away, right, so it looks this bright.
Right.
There's a problem with that.
Yeah. And the shadows are all fucking, the light sources are all fucked up. And
And how come he doesn't explode? He's in a vacuum. He should just the air pressure in his suit, he should explode.
Right.
Okay. He's wearing a snowboarding suit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, in the 70s.
Yeah. Look at these guys. These guys just went to the moon. They were the first guys to get back from the moon successfully. Look how happy they are.
Right.
They're being forced to lie.
Yeah, and all the people that have died on the missions as well before they took off, like the capsule that exploded. They were going to come out and say that the whole thing was a hoax.
With the lemon, right?
Right.
Here's one more. I'll let you go. Ready? Because this one will throw you over the edge. The Challenger blew up and killed all the people, Krista McCauley. But somehow they all have identical twins that are working at universities that have the same name, same birthday, but they're identical twins.
Really? Yeah, that one I saw. That's legit. That's 100%. Like that can be.
Some people say that this isn't the same person because her skin color. I don't know what she did, why her skin. Maybe she's just tan. But if you watch, there's a speech by her from when she was an astronaut, and in a speech of this, she's a Yale professor. Same dimple, same teeth, same expression, same way of thinking, same hand gestures, same voice, same everything. It's her. I'd bet my life on it.
Right.
Here's the weird thing. Well, maybe NASA likes people that have twins, maybe they work.
That could be a thing. That's fair. Okay.
But none of the twins showed up at any of their funerals.
Yeah, right. See, yeah, it's all that kind of shit, right? Oh man, dude, I like you, David. I really like you. I just think you're the greatest guy, and I'm so happy that I connected with you. And I'd absolutely love to stay in touch and keep on learning.
All right, reach out anytime. I'll shoot you an email. Save my email address.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, I'll send you those images, and then let me know when we're going up. All right.
Perfect. Sounds good.
See ya. Thanks.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye.
The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock App, a dynamic new app to teach family and friends about where they actually live. The sky is a perfect clock. The sun measures the hours and days. The moon measures the weeks and months. The star constellations measure the seasons and years. 12/12 or 24-hour clock face, or go hands-free. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app with new added features. World Time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add your own or have the app change it to a new one automatically every time you use the app. Add a countdown to your next big date. Learn the truth about our world with the featured video of the day. Web button for additional flat Earth related features, from the mythical curve calculator all the way to Tartaria. While talking to friends, easily pull up pictures that expose the globe lie and shine light on the flat Earth truth. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth, and clean screen features. Simply click off the items you don't wish to see. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our flat Earth actually works.